Hello and welcome back to Study English with me on English Mastery Hub. My name is Karen and you are in Karen's Corner. Remember, our slogan for Study English with me is a saying from Albert Einstein, who said, "Anyone who has never made a mistake has never tried something new." So I don't want you to get discouraged when you're learning English. If you make mistakes, the mere fact that you are trying is what will get you to achieve your goals in the end. It is a slow process, but one day you will just wake up and find that you understand English so much better. So don't give up. Please stay with me till the end. By now, I hope you've registered on our website and you're making use of the games and courses to familiarize yourself better with English. For today, we're going to look at another blog, which is on the right-hand side of our home page. And the blog is called The Unspoken Rules of Social Etiquette Around the World. This is a C1 to C2 level, so you may find that there are some words you're not familiar with, but remember to make use of your glossary. Simply click on a word and add it to your glossary if you don't understand it. So if I click on ingrained, up comes the glossary. I can add it to my glossary. You can change it into your home language, whatever that may be: French, Portuguese, German, Dutch, Polish, and you will add it to your glossary. Ingrained means being fixed or established in something. So you can add any word like that to your glossary while we go through the reading passage. So these are words that you may not know. There may be other words that you can add. There is no limitation to the amount of words you can add to your glossary, and I would encourage you to make use of that awesome tool. There is also an audio file that you can listen to, but for now I want you to practice the shadow technique while I read the article to you. The unspoken rules of social etiquette around the world. In an increasingly globalized world, understanding the unspoken rules of social etiquette is essential for respectful and successful cross-cultural interaction. Whether you're traveling for business, leisure, or living abroad, knowing how to behave appropriately can help you avoid misunderstandings and build stronger connections. While basic politeness, like saying please and thank you, is widely appreciated, each culture has its own unique expectations and social codes. What is considered polite in one country may be perceived as rude in another. In Japan, silence during conversation is often valued more than constant speech. Interrupting someone, even to show enthusiasm, may be frowned upon. Furthermore, bowing is a common greeting, and there are varying depths and lengths depending on the situation. Offering a business card with both hands and receiving it with a slight bow is another expected practice. In the Middle East, hospitality is deeply ingrained in social life. Refusing an offer of tea or coffee can sometimes be seen as disrespectful. Showing the soles of your feet or shoes, especially when sitting, is considered impolite in many Arab countries. Furthermore, public displays of affection are discouraged in conservative regions. In France, politeness is deeply tied to language. A simple bonjour before asking a question can determine how helpful someone will be. Failing to greet someone properly might be interpreted as rude or demanding. Moreover, punctuality in social settings is more flexible than in professional contexts. In India, using the right hand for eating, offering gifts, or exchanging money is vital, as the left hand is considered unclean. Respect for elders is also an important aspect of Indian etiquette. It is not uncommon to see younger individuals touching the feet of older family members as a sign of respect. In the UK, personal space and queuing are sacred. Jumping the queue is socially unacceptable and often results in stern looks or comments. Small talk is a key element of British politeness, and it's common to discuss the weather as a neutral conversation starter. These subtle customs form an invisible web of expectations that guide social behavior. Ignorance of these norms can lead to embarrassment or offense, even when no harm is intended. As such, cultural sensitivity requires more than just awareness. It demands adaptability and respect. Ultimately, learning about social etiquette is a form of cultural respect. Observing, asking polite questions, and making a genuine effort go a long way. In the end, kindness and humility are universally appreciated, even if the rules of expression vary from place to place. The grammar used in this article focuses on modal verbs. So if we go to our grammar book and we look up modal verbs, you can see they are on starting on slide 32. So just type 32 in the window, push enter, and there you will see modal verbs. Modal verbs such as can, could, and be able to. So, can expresses present ability or permission. I can run fast is an ability. Can I leave the room? I am asking for permission. And could expresses past ability and a polite request. Could I please leave the room? So it makes it more polite. And then be able to is used for different tenses when can is not possible. We see here the positive, negative, and question forms of can, could, and be able to. On the next slide, there is a conversation using modal verbs and a short story for you to see how you can use them in sentences. I suggest you go through that, and if you are still not sure of modal verbs, then why not register on our website and join a free grammar class. There are free grammar classes and you can join those and improve your grammar. And then there are free speaking classes where you can practice your speaking skills with people who are also learning and improve your fluency in a non-judgmental environment. Sounds fantastic. So please join up. Then lastly, we're going to look at the 5 questions based on the article. I want to thank you for staying with me through this video. That shows me that you are really interested in improving your English, and that is something to be really proud of. So the 5 questions based on the article, this is a type of questions that you will get given in an exam. They give you a reading text and then they ask you questions based on the reading text to see just how well you understood the text. I'm going to answer these for you, and you may put your answers in the comments below the video, or if you don't understand a particular answer, please drop me a question. I am waiting to answer your questions. First question: why is silence considered valuable in Japanese conversation? So you need a keyword to take you back to the passage, and that keyword is Japanese conversation. So we are lucky in this article that it's divided in bold to the different countries, so we can see in Japan, silence during conversation is valued more than constant speech. So that's our answer for the first question. And the second question is, what does the article suggest about offering tea and coffee in Middle Eastern culture? Who remembers that one? So we go back to our blog. In Middle Eastern culture, refusing an offer of tea or coffee can be seen to be disrespectful. And if you're in that situation, the person is going to feel that you are being rude because you've refused his offering of tea or coffee. Question number 3. How does the use of language reflect politeness in French society? So we're looking at France. In France, politeness is deeply tied to language. And if you show a French person that you know a little bit of French by merely saying hello, bonjour, you may get a lot more help from them than if you failed to greet them. Question number 4. What is the significance of the right hand in Indian social etiquette? This one really fascinates me because they use the right hand for eating and the left hand is considered unclean, but then they exchange money with their right hand. And money, as we know, can be very dirty, so I don't quite understand the logic there. But their right hand is used for eating, offering gifts, and exchanging money. The left hand is considered unclean and must not be used. And the last question, why is queuing described as a vital part of British culture? So in British culture, queuing is sacred. Nobody jumps the queue. That is really frowned upon, and you will get some very nasty comments if you push in and jump the queue. It's part of British tradition that people queue and wait for their turn. So it's very interesting to learn how different cultures perceive different customs. And as we said in our last paragraph, we need to appreciate and show kindness to other people of different cultures. And in that way, we will all get along together and the world will be a better place. Thank you for spending time with me today. I really do appreciate it, and I hope to see you again next time. Bye bye for now.